Hey, it's Mikey B. Zan. So I just finished a music video. Every time I finish a big project, I feel a huge sense of relief and accomplishment for a few hours, followed the next day by feelings of sadness. I was working on this music video for 7 weeks. Every hour of the day, I was focused on getting this thing done before the deadline. I felt stress at some points, but never depression since I was so busy trying to figure out how to animate these scenes. Even when I wasn't drawing, I was working on animation ideas in my head. The big difference between creativity and depression is how the mind deals with problems. If someone is depressed, then the problem is the beginning, middle, and end of the story. But for a mind engaged in a creative act, the problem is a puzzle waiting to be solved. This is my own personal experience with relating to depression and creativity. I have short spans of mild depression that last from 1 to 3 days, almost always after completing a big creative project. I can't focus, anxiety is amplified, and I don't know what I should concentrate on. But because I know these feelings are temporary, it doesn't cause me to think harmful thoughts. Here's my hypothesis for why this happens. Creativity gives a sense of purpose, and when you have a deep sense of purpose, it's hard to be truly depressed, even when you feel sad or overworked. Having a worthwhile problem to solve engages the mind. Having a clear goal to strive for keeps you moving. A mind that is not engaged is depressed. But it isn't all in the mind. The brain is an organ in the body and is thus influenced by what we consume and how much we move. This is why I try to get a daily walk in. It's also why I generally don't like the winter, because I can't walk as much, and that affects my mood. Dopamine is responsible for reward motivation. The brain is complex, and I'm no neuroscientist, so I don't mean to be too reductionistic in saying this, but creative acts are directly linked to dopamine, which causes the anticipation of reward. So if someone is depressed, that anticipation for a reward is inconceivable. There's only doom and gloom. From my own experience, working on a creative project jumpstarts the feel-good chemicals in my brain, causing any feelings of deep sadness to disappear. I think it's hard to be simultaneously depressed and deeply engaged in creative work. We can't be two places at once, either physically or mentally. It's like the myth of multitasking, where a person isn't actually doing many things at once, but rather is rapidly switching between focusing on many different tasks individually. In other words, a generally depressed person can switch back and forth between creation and depression, but the motivation creative work requires is incompatible with the demotivated state of a depressed mind. This is why I think creativity can be an antidote for mild forms of sadness. I'm not an expert or anything, but I think non-invasive forms of health improvement, like exercise and taking up a creative passion, are well worth trying. I hope my experience will inspire you to go make something, and the rewards from producing your own thing might change your life. That's all I have to say about that. So thank you for watching. If you enjoy this stuff and would like to support it while getting rewards in the process, you can become a patron on Patreon via the link in the description box below or in the info card. And I'll be posting animatics, storyboards, and other stuff on Patreon. And also like ebooks and comics that I'll publish on Amazon will be posted for free on Patreon, so you'll get immediate access to all of that content. But there's no pressure. I'm gonna keep making stuff on YouTube for free. It's just, if you want to support, then the option is there to do so. And in the meantime, I'm gonna keep making stuff and try to be happy.